Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Underhood Show presented by Hambelton Ford. My name is Phil Nightingale. I'm the general manager. Josh Popper, service director. Morning, Josh.
Good morning.
Anyway, it's a beautiful, chilly kind of Saturday morning out there, isn't it?
A little bit different for sure.
Fall is coming. So, anyway, 316-462-3673. Hey, anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries, anything you want to talk about in the automobile world, race, MH Ford Racing, anything that's going on there, we would love to talk to you and get a great price package. Only show I know you get paid to call in on. So let's get the phones ringing. 316-462-3673. That'll punch you right into the front desk here at Hambelton Ford. Tell them you want to get on the podcast, and we'll get you timed in here for your question. And as always, Josh, what's in that great price package for each and every caller?
So we're going to mail it out to you, but it's going to consist of the works, which is an oil change and tire rotation. We use Motorcraft oil and filter products here at Hambelton Ford. While we're performing that, we're also going to complete a multi-point inspection, checking over that vehicle, the brakes, tires, steering, suspension, all the safety-related components, just making sure that it's ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving. You'll also receive yourself $10 to Mel's Diner, so you can get yourself something to eat and drink while you're here with us at the big corner. You'll get complete nitrogen for your tires, so you get all the great benefits that nitrogen has to offer. And then a BG products package, which is going to consist of a can of MOA or motor oil additive for your engine oil, and then CF5 for your fuel system. Again, just getting that vehicle geared up and ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving.
All right, so let's get the phones ringing. 316-462-3673. We already got one caller coming through. We'll get Jason patched in here real quickly. And morning, Delbert. How you doing? And the camera is at a different angle, Josh, is what Delbert was saying.
Yeah, it is. We went, so we did the briefing for the wider angle. There was 4 of us on here the last time, and I did not move it back. So
that's all right. And then we got that big old white thing hanging there in the background.
Got a poster board over there.
So
and
it is what it is.
A couple little different things. So, but got a caller headed through here. We'll get him patched in. But a lot of exciting stuff to talk about this week for sure.
We do. He's coming through. Oh, sorry.
I thought it was on already. There we go. So, good morning, Jason. You're live with Under the Hood. Go ahead.
Morning, gentlemen. How are you guys this morning?
We're doing great.
Hey, so I got a question, and something that I kind of got into debate with somebody, but I have a 2015 Ford F-150, and so but he was telling me he was using E85 in his truck and I thought, why would you do that? Because I don't think that truck requires it. Besides, mine's got the Eco Boost on it, so does he. But I just want to know, can you use E85 in these trucks? I tried Googling it, and I can't really get a good answer, but I've always gone with what it recommends, and I always use the 87 octane.
Yeah, 87 octane is where you need to be with those EcoBoost engines.
I guess what I'm going to say is you can try it. Try a full tank. Run the tank as low as you can, and then put a tank of E85 through it, and just see what it does for your fuel economy and your power and everything else too. From that standpoint, just see what it does. I'm going to say it's going to degrade your power, and it's going to lose some fuel economy and everything else too. And I don't know how much cheaper the E85 is right now than a regular 87 from that part, but it would be a good test. But I'd be scared to death what it would do with the fuel mileage and the lack of power that it would change into, Jason.
Because I would think that the alcohol would eat up the fuel system.
Yeah. So there is the alcohol or the ethanol fuels.
Or ethanol. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. The ethanol fuels. A lot of the fuel systems anymore are, I guess, are able to handle the fuels, but there's the vehicles that are capable of running the higher ethanol contents have additional components in there. I mean, it's monitoring what the ethanol content is of that fuel, and it's also calibrating, your timing and injector pulse and a lot of other things to compensate for the different burn that ethanol is going to give the vehicle. And so the vehicles that are designed to run both fuels or everything, it's okay to run them. What you have to do, though, is you can't just put, a couple gallons of this in and then a couple gallons of that in. You really need to kind of burn one and stick with it, or at least go like a fuller tank, because it does take a little while for that computer system to go back and forth. And you will, you will get less miles per gallon on ethanol or on a higher ethanol content than you do, 87 octane from that side. And so end of the day is the savings that you're getting from the lesser price of the fuel really worth it? I don't know. I think ethanol is a really good thing in the sense of what it does for the farmers, and also just making fuel more reasonable for sure. But as far as dollars and cents, if it's a huge savings, I can't say that I would think that it would make a huge amount of difference one way or the other.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so either. It'd be a good test to kind of see. Then the next thing I would do if I was you is run that tank of ethanol all the way out, and then go put a tank of premium in and see what it does from that standpoint. Okay. And see what it does. You might be surprised with that EcoBoost. That premium might help it a little bit and get you some more miles per gallon, a little bit more power. But then again, the cost difference of figuring out where you're really at. But I still think after the test would be already done, Jason, you'll find out that E87 is, the 87 octane is the best fuel, the best alternative, the best price, and the best efficiency of that truck is what I'll bet you would find from that standpoint.
Well, I know you can mix 87 octane with premium. I just didn't know about the E85 because I'm really leery about the E85. So I'll probably just stick to what I've been doing, just use the 87 unleaded.
Gotcha. Totally get it.
Anyway. But I appreciate the feedback, guys.
Anytime. Thanks for the call, Jason. And Delbert, you need to go check out some of the comments. Delbert's kind of driving at you today. Is that Jason Cox? And it is Jason Cox. All right, Jason. Hey, thanks for the call. And Delbert, thanks for all the comments on the side there. Really appreciate it. So let's keep the phones ringing.
Delbert.
Hey. All right, buddy. Have a great weekend, bud.
You too.
Thanks, Jason. All right, 316-462-3673. Let's keep the phones ringing. Love to hear from you and give you away the great prize package, reaching every caller. So anyway, let's give a few updates. Yeah, I shouldn't be sitting here, should I, Josh? But I'm sitting here. Team 3J went up to Boone, Iowa, and we start off day one of we went up last Saturday and raced to get kind of practice in, and didn't have the car dialed in. But we kept dialing it in, and we drew very terrible on the first day, and so we had to work out of that. Did okay if we moved forward and everything else like that. Day two, we went for a good draw and took off on our heat race and made two laps before a guy spun twice, which I'm not sure why they let him stay out there after he spun once to spin twice in a row, spun right in front of Jake and took us out. So we got a damaged race car, and we are back. And we are headed back and get Buddy and Tanner over to figure out what we're going to do with this race car to get it finished up so we can finish out the year. But it just kind of sucks to be back sitting here in Wichita instead of being at Boone, Iowa, trying to see what we can go do. And I think we'd have qualified very well. And
sounded like the car after the first or after Saturday, you got to work with it a couple days on the track, and it sounded like it was definitely headed in the right direction. We
were. When we took off in that heat race, the car took off and it was doing very well. And it's just too bad. I guess you call it racing. It is what it is. But good luck to those guys up there in Boone, and we'll see what they can do up there. And there's several Kansas guys up there that have qualified already. So we'll see if we can get a few more in there going from that standpoint. So good luck to those guys. And just sucks we're sitting back here in Wichita instead of sitting in Boone, Iowa. That's for dang sure. I can tell you that for sure. So,
and what you said, there was about 900 cars up there or so.
Yeah, I don't think they quite hit 1,000. They might have hit a total 1,000 of all the cars that's being entered in a deal. But I tell you, it's an amazing show. It's crazy how many cars are there to put that all in one particular area. But I will tell you, those guys do run a great racetrack. They know how to run a racetrack. They know how to keep that thing farmed up and grooved up. 15 minutes they can go out there and farm that track, wet it, pack it back down, and we're back racing again. And they do it every 10 races. So they've got it down to a science. They've got about 6 tractors running right out there and everything else too. But they do know how to put on a show. They know how to do it. And there's just so many heat races and so many races they got to go through. And do I wish they could get everything perfect? Yeah, but it's not. We're all human. We're not going to get it perfect and everything else too from that standpoint. So It's a fun time, and it was an experience that never forget. Just wish we could still be racing, but we're not. So anyway, so enough on Team 3J. Let's quick over last night, the Goose. Let's call into the show, buddy. Love to hear from you. The Goose from Kansas International Dragway. And yes, our Mustang last night, Josh, took off with the best pass we've seen. So Nick sent me the time slaps last night that we did, but he thinks we need a new set of tires. We could have went faster, but the car hit a 10.4793 at the quarter mile, 122.82 miles of deal, and the 8th mile it did a 6.8083. So it was zinging along pretty good. So
yeah, it was.
And that was only on 7 pounds of boost. So we need to get to put a little bit more boost in it and see what it does and see how it goes. And then Nick just put down here the final was a 10:31 at 136. So yes, so 10:31 at 136 mile an hour. Mile an hour really jumped up too. So Nick, you might want to call in and tell us what you did, how the passes went on the 21 Mustang of ours. Excited for that. The next step is we're going to get it on the dyno and actually see how much power it's actually producing. BG Products is going to do that for us. They've got that fantastic dyno. You know, we had my 500 on, so we're going to go over there and put it on there next. But it sounds to me like we need to put a set of tires on that thing and see if we can get that thing maybe in the 9s. But that was been my goal, to get it in the 9 seconds. So, of course, only 7 pounds of boost. I don't know if maybe Nick turned the boost up a little bit more, or if he left it at 7 pounds. But Nick, give us a call. Let us know what you got. Goose, call in. Let's talk about what's going on at Kansas International Dragway, what's happening there, all your schedules, who's racing, what's going on. Love to hear from you for what's happening on that standpoint, what you got going on out there at Kansas International Dragway. So 316-462-3673. Hey, that's the number to dial in. And we'll take your calls and give you that great price package for each and every caller. So let's see if we can get Nick and Goose to get called in here real quick and update us on everything there from that part. And then Delbert Art, I agree. I used to use the 87 octane E10, then went to ethanol, regular 87, and I get 3 miles a gallon more and 5 gallon more on highway. I would never burn E85 in a car because it's not recommended by the manufacturer. I agree. I guess you got to put that E85 in there only when it's recommended, and that E85 is always stamped on your fuel. As you open the fuel door, it'll tell you what that vehicle is designed and what it needs to run. But I'd love to see if Jason would go run a couple tanks of that stuff through and kind of see what it does, and if it does change much or whatever. And Goose says it has all the power for the 9s. That's been my goal, is thinking to get that Mustang in the 9-second range, Goose. So I hope we can get there. We're not too far away. 3/10 is a lot to get, though, in a quarter mile when you already got it maxed out. But we'll see what kind of boost we can put in that car. And Josh, you got a long block ready?
So I don't that I think the transmission, I think, could be where
you think that's going to get?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the transmission will be the first.
You got one of them sitting here ready to go yet, too?
I think we do. I'm pretty sure we do. So it's going to be very interesting to see what holds up. But even we passed stock a long time ago, and for the car to go this far into the equation and not have broken anything yet, I think that's pretty impressive, really. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's pretty impressive too what that car can do, and I think we got to break something. I hate to tell you that, but I do.
Well, you got to find out what the weak link is, right?
It is.
I mean, isn't that kind of what racing is finding the weakest link and then getting that fixed and then finding the next one and
keep going, right?
So forth and so on.
So Goose is retexting back in here. Yeah, it has all the power for the 9s and also something about a converter. Yeah, we might need to put a converter in it too to see what it'll kind of do to help us get that thing started off the start and everything else too. Can't wait to get behind the wheel of that thing again. I know that I probably can't wheel it as good as old Nick Roberts can wheel it, but still want to get behind it, right, Josh?
Yeah, for sure.
See what we can do with it too. I'd love to see what it can do in that car. Of course, we want to get over to BG and put it on the dyno and see what get the actual horsepower to the wheels of that car and just kind of see how much we're putting down. Will be fun and exciting from that part too. So
I was trying to think on the tires. That's age-wise, it's probably an older set too. I would think. Well, actually, no, because they come out with those other.
We put the new ones on before the Beat the Heat. But, I think that car ran quite a few track passes.
Do that night, yeah.
On the Beat the Heat track night, so it is probably time for a set of tires to put on it and see what it does. And I wonder if we have to talk to Nick about that too. I don't know what tire we actually have on. I can't keep track of all those numbers in my C7 and one of these and all that other stuff that Hoosier's got for these drag cars and stuff. I'd love to see if maybe there's a different tire we need to put on it or whatever to hold that thing up more, or what we need to do. I don't know. Guess we'll find out from Nick what he's got. I think we put a set of drag radials on it the last time is what we did.
I'm pretty sure it was
Yep,
because
Goose
they
just
were
comes
new to Hoosier, and so.
Nick Goose just said, yeah, it needs slicks, not radials. So yeah, that might be the thing. Different set of tires, and maybe that's all it needs. A little more boost and more tires, and then see what breaks.
So, next part, please.
Next. Hey, so let's get the phones. We're going to 316-462-3673. Love to hear from you. Anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries, anything in the racing world, anything in new products, love to hear from you. So, hey, let's switch gears and let's go to the new stuff before Josh and I and Lisa and Shannon are headed to Las Vegas tomorrow. We're headed up to the Ford New Car Show.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be interesting to see what they have to present to us and what they're going to show us. I bet we're going to see some new products. I think we're going to drive something at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Not sure what that's going to be yet. We haven't heard, but I bet it's going to be the Lightnings. I bet we're going to drive some Lightnings around. I'm not sure if that's what it's going to be either. Got a caller coming in. We'll get Nick Pratchett in here. Nick's going to give us an update on the drag car, how it went and everything else last night. So it'll be fun to see what Ford's going to give with us. And then the next thing is going to be phone's ringing. So let's go to the phones.
Nick, you're live with Under the Hood. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
All right, let's give us a debriefing of last night, how the car went, what it did, and all that good stuff too, buddy.
Yeah, so last night we started off the night on 7 pounds of boost, and that's really where we stayed. When the wastegates would try to open on the shift, they would dump all the boost when I tried to go to higher boost. So I'm going to change the wastegate springs out today and try to make sure that they can stay shut. But so I just really worked on getting the car to launch, a bunch of suspension settings on the car, getting it where it was happy. And then I think we kind of ran into that the tires might have outlived their life. But yeah, the first real pass was that 10.4. And the 1,000-foot mile an hour was that 122 or 124.
Did I read the tech card wrong?
Yeah, so the quarter mile was still 134.89 on that one.
Oh, yeah, I did read the wrong mile. I read the 1,000-foot mile. Yeah, 134. Yep, okay.
So then just worked on the launch, kept adjusting the struts and shocks, and then finally got it down to the 1031 and the 136.3.
Okay, so you think changing the wastegate springs out, and then you can put more boost to it. So what are you thinking, how much more boost we're going to stick to it?
Well, I was really hoping we would have got to 15 last night, but then, like I said, it would flutter. It would get there on the leave, and then as soon as the car would shift, it'd cut the boost away and then go right back to the wastegate 7 pounds. So I think it's really only going to take about 2 to 3 more pounds to get into the 9s the way it was going. But at 15, I would expect that we're probably going to be mid to low 9s pretty easy.
Well, that's going to be fun and exciting to see what it does. Now, the next question me and Josh were discussing is what's going to break first? Is it the motor? Is it transmission? What's going to break? Or where's the weak link? And I hate to tell you this, Nick, but I want to find that weak link and know what it is, whether it is the training or it's the motor or whatever. And we've got everything. I think I don't know if we got a long block set in here for that thing or not, but
yeah,
if we don't, we better get one. What'd you say, Nick?
I think it's going to be the axle.
Oh,
I think
really?
the axles are going to give out first. Yeah. On the last launch, it left really good, really hard. And I kind of cringed when I let go of the button. Was like, oh, them stock axles.
Well,
but it did like I said, it did real well. And
well, let's go another step on the axles. I would hate for that to break and tear something else up in the car, or can it? So should we go ahead and get some different axles underneath that thing and not take a chance of tearing all that Steeda suspension?
Yeah, usually when they break, they just break at the joint.
Shear the axle. Yeah.
Okay. Now, you know what I'm saying? I just don't want that axle to come apart and then tear a whole bunch of other things up or whatever, or hurt the car in a different way that we can't have to send it to a body shop or something like that too. So we need to think about that too. If you think it is the axles, I'm almost say we ditch those stock axles and put some better axles in it, and then let's find the weak link after that. Because I don't know. I don't. Maybe that thing won't tear nothing else up when that axle breaks or whatever. But again, maybe we need to find out that is the weak link and figure out where that pressure's at. We'll snap one of those axles. I'm not sure, but okay, let's switch back to the Hoosier tires for a minute. I know we put a set of drag radials on it, and Goose is texting in here saying we need slicks, not radials. But we did put a set of drag radials on it. It's what we have on it now, right?
Yeah. So I think we ran this big thing was, I would hate to even count how many passes those radials have on it. I mean, because the whole beat the heat night, that car never stopped. Let alone all of our testing. So those radials have really done really, really well for us. Usually on a car like this, the radial will usually net a faster time than a slick, as long as the track surface or whatever you're racing on or the car suspension setup is proper.
Well, let's go another step. Were you on a prep track or a non-prep track last night?
It was a prep track last night.
It was a prep track last night.
It was really, really good track. I mean, the air temperature was pretty good. It was a nice night to try to get it to go fast. And I think 7 pounds of boost to go bottom tens was pretty impressive. I've seen a lot of other cars that have tried to be 10, 12 pounds to get to the same number. So I think, like I said, a few more pounds and it's going to be an easy 9-second car. And then after that, when we really start letting it eat, it's going to be real fun.
Yeah, like that too. Well, that's been the whole idea of this car when we started this. Almost, God, how long we've been building on this thing now? Year and a half.
A year.
Yeah, we need to get another video out and update everybody on Hunt for the horsepower that we haven't done for quite a while. But I think we have been waiting so many times on times and if our busy schedule and everything else too. So I think it'll be fun to get that out there again and get some video going and show that thing launching and all that good stuff too. So let's get a different set of tires on it, but let's really think about those axles a little bit too, if we should change them or not change them. I mean, that's not, unless we want to figure out that is the weak link. I don't know. We need to discuss that too and figure out from that's what we want to do. The next thing is to me, the other thing we do, get a set of slicks on it. Let's get it over to BG and let's get it on the dyno and just kind of see what kind of power it's putting out.
Yeah, for sure.
So, okay, what's going on at Kansas International Dragway today? Anything happening out there? What happened last night and all that good stuff too?
So yeah, last night was just a midnight mayhem deal. So we still opened the gates at 8 p.m. Sorry, and then it was just an open test and tune, and all the bracket racers held a bracket gamblers race. So that was pretty cool. There was quite a few bracket racers out there. But nothing for the rest of the weekend. Maybrier out at Mad has a huge heads up race today. So we don't want to step on each other's toes. And I think that's going to be pretty big for him. So got to kind of work together.
Yep, that sounds good. You got to do that. You got to participate with each other, not step on each other's toes, and work their schedules together so everybody can be profitable. And that is what this name of the game is right now with the with these racetracks and stuff, is getting a profit made for these tracks to stay alive and everything else too. And everybody doesn't realize all the expense and everything that goes into running one of these racetracks and all that kind of stuff until you're in the heat of the battle, not in the heat of the battle, but when you're in the battle of making that racetrack go and stuff like that too. But each track's got to survive, every track. So I really think that's a great relationship you guys have with Chris out at Mad, and the way you guys are working well together there. I think that's pretty good.
Yep, for sure.
So, well, anyway, okay, well, let's head out to Mad. It's Mid-America Dragway in Arc City today. Do you know any times or anything there on that part?
I believe I read it was like the gates opened at noon, if I'm correct.
Gates open at noon and stuff. So, looking for some drag race fun, it's time to head out to Mid-America Dragway in Arc City. And sorry that Kansas International Dragway is closed, but last night sounded like it was fun. What's up next for Kansas? Is they open up? What's you guys got next on the schedule for Kansas International Dragway?
So we're actually working with quite a few people, and the date's not 100% locked, but it'll be coming up real soon. We're going to try to do a fall nationals. I'm trying to work with do a quick 6 shootout for Pro Mods, a quick 6 shootout for Nitro Funny cars, a bunch of heads up stuff, some index stuff. So trying to work on something kind of a last minute deal, but really, really big to kind of finish the fall off. And then another big last event will be our Halloween show. That's my favorite one I've done every year with past owners and stuff. And we'll have kids bounce houses, trick or treat, trunk or treats, costume contests, pumpkin painting contests, all kinds of crazy fun stuff.
That sounds good. So that's on actual Halloween night, the 31st?
That will be on the 29th.
29th.
So Saturday.
Saturday the 29th, yeah. Okay, well, sounds like a lot of good fun, a lot of exciting stuff. I hate to say that drag racing and the dirt track racing schedules are coming down to the near end. I hate to hear that and stuff like that too, but it's been a fun year. Can't wait for next year. Can't wait for PRI. a lot of good things we have coming up going forward, and a lot of exciting things we have planned going forward. So excited for all that kind of stuff too. Just hate that we're running out of time on this year for racing, and that stupid winter's coming around.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, Nick, hey, thanks for calling in. Thanks for giving us the update, and let's get that plan up and get some tires on that drag car and see what we're going to do.
All righty, sounds good.
All right, thanks for the call, Nick. Talk to you soon, buddy. All right, 316-462-3673. Yep, Mike Sheridan, I agree. It's time for some more burnouts in front of the show. We need to make a new commercial. That one we did a while back is kind of old. Maybe I can do a burnout in the chrome car and see how it looks on TV for something like that too.
Just for the purposes to see how it looks on TV. Though,
exactly.
Yeah, no other reason.
Anyway, Delbert wants to know they're going to let us film things out in Vegas for the new stuff. I will tell you that and when we go into the meetings, they lock our phones up in bags, so we can't use our phones at all during the meetings. Now, out at the drag strip, I don't think they can stop us from doing anything there, but I think what they have on display there is probably stuff that's already announced and all that kind of stuff.
I think we've done a couple of Facebook Lives from.
Yeah.
I kind of remember doing that.
I do too. But Josh last year got in trouble at the meeting. He had to get escorted out of the meeting because he was using his phone.
Supposed to be turning them in at the door.
That wasn't Josh.
It wasn't me. It was
It was
the neighbor to the left of me.
So anyway, I did get busted up on that deal, but that's okay. I got escorted out of the deal. I had to put my phone back into a bag and everything else too. So, but anyway, it'll be fun in Vegas to see what Ford's going to tell us. I do know they're going to give us the announcements of what they're going to make the dealers do to qualify to be an EV dealer. And I'm afraid what we're going to hear there, we're not going to like, but it is what it is. We're going to be an EV dealer no matter what.
Yeah.
We need to find out how to play the game and give us the playbook and let us go after it and go after what we're going to go do with that situation too. So it'll be fun to see what we got there, and we'll be back Tuesday afternoon. Maybe next week we can be able to Josh sit down and give everybody an update what we saw in Vegas and saw what Ford's going to do and announce what how this is going to work on the EV dealers. And so that's basically kind of what it's going to be. Is you're going to be either an ICE dealer, which is an internal combustion engine dealer, or you can be both an ICE dealer and an EV dealer. But I just worried what these recommendations are going to be, or requirements, I should say, to be an EV dealer from that part going forward. So, hey, anyway, a couple more things on EVs. We got another CTP unit coming on the Lightning. This one's a Lariat. It's in production.
Good.
Yeah. Got another one in shipping and two more being built. So we got a few more Lightnings on the way. I just can't wait to see what the actual number of Lightnings that we're going to get for 23 from that part. It's going to be interesting to see how many they really give us. We ended up getting 6 of the Lightnings for 23. Excuse me, 22.
Yeah, I was going to say.
From that part. So anyway, Bronco Raptor, we were promised 4 of those. We're getting 1 for 22 model year. The other ones are getting moved over to 23s. Hate to hear that too. We got a few more Broncos being built for 22. There's going to be a few people moved to actual 23s, and I've had people that have waited for 23 because there's a new painted top they wanted, and so I got a lot of people waiting on those for the move into 23 model year too.
With the painted
top, and it looks the ones I've seen with the painted top. I get why everybody's kind of the people that are waiting on them. What it does look pretty cool with a painted top instead of that.
I'd like to see. So they had that throwback one,
the Heritage.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to see it in person.
Yeah, I hope they have that there in Vegas for us to see too. I think the Heritage Edition of the full size Bronco looks cool. The Bronco Sport, I hate to tell you, I think it's ugly. That's just my opinion. I it's not.
Just not you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and see, that's my whole thing. The Heritage Edition, the Bronco Sport isn't part of it. To me, is just the full size Broncos. What should they be? It was the old style stuff. That's where the Heritage needs to come into. But they put that Heritage on the Bronco Sport, and I don't know. I guess there's somebody will like that Heritage in the Bronco Sport. Just not me.
Yeah.
But I do think the Heritage Edition of the full size Bronco is cool as you know what. It's very, very neat and everything else too from that part. So anyway, like I said, it'll be exciting to see what they're going to show us out there. But I'm afraid we're going to not like those EV requirements they're going to put on us dealers to what we got to do to become an EV dealer.
Well, and on that side of it, it's to put a blanketed statement out there for everybody, because it is currently is more geographical than it will be later on down the road. But I think your coastal cities obviously are going to be a lot more prevalent in the EV market initially, for sure. But as far as the capabilities of the trucks or the vehicles that they're producing, I think they're more than capable, for sure. Driving that Lightning F-150 around or the Mach-E, it's a joy to drive them. It really is, and the way they ride and how they operate and everything like that really works. But when you get into the pickup market, there's a lot of needs out there, all the way from a guy that just drives a pickup because he wants to drive a pickup to somebody that really tows and pulls and has to have the need for a gas engine when it comes to that. So,
and Mike Sheridan says here the Ford Lightning is insane to drive. You anticipate the shift points, the engine noise, squeaks and creaks, and there's nothing. I mean, it is impressive to me. This is a base model, what I call the XL, but they're calling it the Pro. If you haven't drove this truck, you need to come out here. It's what it's here for. Everyone to test drive and take it for a spin and stuff too. But I can't get over, the big screens in there for all the tech. The other thing is it's so quiet inside that cab, and they did a fantastic job with that from the part two. You need to come out and just take that thing for a test drive. That's why it's here.
I mean, to me, the most impressive point is, the features in the truck and then the price point, and to know that that's the base model, because that truck is 39.9, and then there's like a destination
it's
just
like
puts it right at
40,000
or just a little over 40,000.
41. I think 41 something.
And to get into a full size truck for that dollar amount is kind of crazy. And it's perfectly capable. So
yep, I agree totally. So if you haven't drove the Lightning, you need to come out here. That's what it's here for. It's a demo. We're going to leave it here for a long time. So who knows how many we're going to get or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be an interesting deal that the Lariat get here, and maybe we do need to sell the Pro. I don't know. We'll have to make that decision, what we want to do from that part and go from there. The 21 Bronco that we still have full size, I'm getting very close to ready to sell that. From that standpoint. Also the Maverick, if you haven't, of course, no Mavericks on the lot to sell, but we do have a demo for a Maverick. And if you haven't test drove the Maverick, of a neat little compact truck that's very cool to drive, very fun, 40 miles to the gallon with that truck. It's a hybrid and more room inside that cab than a Ranger, but smaller than a Ranger on the outside and stuff too. So if you haven't drove, several things to come out here and have fun with and take a test drive and everything else too. So if you haven't done it, come out and take it for a spin and see what you think. So anyway, 316-462-3673. Hey, let's get the phones ringing and answer any of your questions that's ailing your car or noises or questions or check engine lights, whatever it might be. Love to hear from you and give you that great price package, of course, for each and every caller. And Jason Cox, intrigued on the new Black Widow model. I'm not sure what the Black Widow model is, that part, Jason. So
one of the upfitters was doing like a Black Widow.
Okay. Yeah,
a Black Widow on like the F-150s, but I don't know if that's
there was a Black Widow on a lifted F-150. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, talking about trucks like that too, we got in yesterday, a lowered crew cab 4-wheel drive Shelby F-150, 775 horsepower. Shelby truck, and then we still have our regular cab black one sitting here too, of a Shelby truck too. So kind of rare we have a couple Shelby sitting here. Got a good selection of Tuscanys right now too, and Nick Roberts says Tuscany on the Black Widow. I think Black Widow is made by somebody else. It's not made by, because Tuscany has the Black Ops edition of that, and we have a couple of those out here too. So several lifted trucks and everything else. Reason for that is I took every imaginable truck I could from Tuscany to build, and that's why we have a good selection of those finally, at least from that part. So if you're looking for a good lift truck or Shelby, we got a couple of those, and love to help you with those trucks also. So okay, Josh, anything happened in the shop or anything there? I
definitely been very busy here the last couple of weeks. We had Labor Day. We were closed on Saturday and Monday, which from the employee standpoint was great to let those guys be with their families and stuff like that. Definitely helped there, but also from the business side of things, we really were pushing hard on Friday, and then obviously Tuesday opening back up and getting caught back up for sure. But just going into this time of year, you get a lot of people going back to school and just making sure everything's right, and that the cars are good to go for traveling purposes when you think about going out of town or on vacation for the holiday weekend, or sending Junior off to college or whatever. And so been doing definitely a lot of maintenance from that side of things, and then just preventative maintenance on top of that. And that preventative maintenance is key to be able to do a little bit of preventative maintenance here, and what you can save yourself long term down the road is huge. And it's just really about consumer education and trying to everybody's in a hurry. Everybody's running and going all the time, and I get it. And but you got to take care of the vehicle. You got to do the little things, and it will make a huge difference long term. Doing those little things for sure. So
preventive maintenance is key. And the other thing I will tell you is, remember, I've said this on many shows, what's in that owner's manual is your minimum requirements to take care of that vehicle and stuff. And as expensive these cars are today, everybody drives different. Everybody's got different driving habits, all that kind of stuff. We've got a great way of making sure your vehicle's maintained properly. Let us sit down with you and show you the proper maintenance schedule for your driving habits, what you're doing, and build you the proper maintenance schedule to take care of that vehicle, make it last many miles from that part. And of course, Goose writes out, there's nothing like a super snake. And yes, Goose has and I should say his wife, Goose, I'm sure you're still driving it too, but they have a regular cab lowered Shelby F-150. It's like he said, there's nothing like a super snake, and it is a fast little truck. Got one sitting here in the showroom just like it now too. So yeah, from that part.
Have you drove one of those?
I have not.
Yeah,
I need to.
Wondering.
I bet Goose let me drive his. I bet.
Yeah.
I would. If anyone is wondering what to get me for Christmas, I wear a size Bronco Raptor. All right, Mr. Furman, we'll get you on the list. See what we can do for you there, buddy.
That's a one size fits all.
Here you go.
A unifit is what they call that.
Unifit is correct. So anyway, 316-462-3673. Hey, let's get the phones ringing. Love to hear from you. Anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries, whatever it might be. We'd love to see what would happen with any questions you might have or whatever we can help you with. So,
we got a couple of car shows coming up here. So there's one here, the 24th. I'm not exactly sure. I don't remember the hours of it. I thought there was a flyer over here. I was digging for it, but we'll definitely update you on that as that gets closer. From that side. And then we also I guess donate a couple things to the one over here at the church, this right off of 135th, and that's the first weekend in October too. So I think a couple car shows back to back going on there. So you get into that time of year where people are getting their old hot rods out.
It's so much nicer to get them out in the cooler weather than the heat of the weather. I can promise you that too. So,
and probably better on the car too than driving around in the heat for sure.
Yep, exactly. So anyway, the other thing I keep deciding here, Josh, whether to talk about a vehicle that we have back in the shop that's got 70-some thousand miles on it and the motor's done. And it's due to that lack of maintenance and stuff too that you got to do. So just remember that as you're driving along. We used to go every 200 to 300 miles and fill a tank up and check all the fluids and do all that kind of stuff. Now we're going 5,000 miles. And when you take these vehicles over 5,000 miles, you're making that engine oil cannot provide the lubrication and everything that it needs. And it just starts to break down and everything else too. Remember, your engine oil cools your engine more than the coolant does. The coolant is cooling your oils, basically what's happening there too from that part. And when the oil gets sludge and starts plugging out patches and stuff, it can't get to where it needs to get to. And that's when extra heat crosses and that just builds more carbon basically from that part. But it's just a good thing we put that sticker up in the corner of your windshield. Remember, it's just a reminder that it's there. You just got to get it. The car's telling you at 5,000 miles it needs an interval. Don't look at that owner's manual that says 10,000 miles. I can promise you that there's not an engine oil out there today. I mean, I know Lucas and everybody in their full synthetics will tell you that stuff, but what they forget to tell you is that engine is still putting wear particles. It's still building condensation. It's still building all that stuff, and no oil can go that long and still maintain and not put any extra wear on your engine. Is that oil still lubricating and doing things? Yeah, but that filter can't go that long. I mean, our filters are so good, but they can't go that long.
I've got this was a topic of discussion with it was me and about 4 or 5 of the techs back there, and out of the 5 of them, there was 4 of them that will still change oil on a 3,000 mile interval.
Well, I hate
You
to,
know, and that's I don't. To me, that spoke volumes. Is that you know, they're the ones that are
they
in it
see what's
every
going
day.
on.
They
know
see
what's
what's
happening.
going on. They know what's happening, and for them to do that.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Josh, I if I was not in a demo and didn't have something and I needed to change my oil and stuff, I'm not sure that I wouldn't be on the 2,500 mile interval, to be honest with you.
And you know what the what I don't think the consumer really cares about. Maybe even the you know, we're at $59.95 for the work, so that's an oil change and tire rotation. It's not so much the expense of it; it's just the time
It takes to get it in
that
here
it
and get it
takes to
done.
do it, and everything like that. And not even necessarily with us, but just out of everybody's schedule. And it's so easy to say, "Well, I'll get that.
I'll get it done later. I'll get it done
later.
next week. I'll get it next. Yeah.
And then before you know it, you know, 5,000 miles turns into 7,000, and 7,000 turns into 10.
Yeah.
But it's maintenance is one of those things that it's you can put it off. You know, you don't have to do that oil change today, or that transmission flush today, or that, you know, or check the vehicle over today. But at some point, the more you do that, the more costly that becomes. And it's when you're performing maintenance, you know, you get to pick the time in which you do it.
Yep.
And then also you pretty much have a pretty good idea as cost of what it's going to be at the end of your service visit. When you avoid that and don't do that, then the vehicle chooses for you when it breaks.
Yep.
You're not going to have any idea how much it's going to cost until it's tore apart or, you know, looked at or diagnosed from that side of things. And I can assure you that the price in which you're going to pay for the repairs versus the maintenance is going to be so much greater. You know,
and like I said, the one with 70-some thousand miles on it needs an engine, and the price got to him. He's a little excited. I get it. But that's going to, I think, also make sure that it's kind of like that Fram commercial years ago, pay me now, pay me later. But I can promise you this repair bill is a lot more than it would have been with keeping that oil ever changed. But, you know, it's using these, keeping good fluid to lubricate these engines and stuff. And again, you know, back in the days, you know, it's like, say we go 200-300 miles, we're filling tanks full, we're putting the quart of oil in, we're airing the tires up because, you know, tires just leaked like crazy back then.
you know,
now we can go 5,000 miles, but
and you know, the other thing I think is the general consumer doesn't maybe even really understand what oil is doing. You know, everybody thinks of lubrication, and it is lubricating, but its primary job is to dissipate the heat,
get the heat out of that engine.
Heat out. You know, the engine oil is, you know, getting the heat from the cylinder walls out, and then the coolant is typically taking the heat out of the oil. But it's really all about heat and keeping the components cool. Lubrication is key in what it does, but every time that oil or any fluid heat cycles, you know, it loses its ability to extract the heat. It breaks down, and you know, then the operating temperatures rise on everything, and then with rising operating temperatures becomes more wear, and then, you know, you get dirt and debris and sludge, you know, build up in those fluids, and they just can't do their job. They can't do what they need to do to be able to do that. And so it's basically a you know, it just one thing after the other, and it compounds over time. And the more you ignore it, the harder it is to get that car back to where it needs to be to perform at its best, for sure.
Yep.
And, you know, the other side of things that that I look at is not only from a fluid aspect, but just having somebody look over a vehicle. We had an instance here this week. A gentleman had a brake line, so a rubberized brake line. So where the tire is and the caliper is, there's a rubber brake line that goes in the fender well and then attaches to a steel line. Well, the purpose of the rubber brake line is to be able to allow the tire to turn front and rear and move with the suspension and everything like that. Well, he had the rubber brake line, something had got up in under the car and bent the bracket that held the rubber brake line, and it rubbed against the
Rotor.
tire. And so it basically rubbed a hole in the brake line, and then he lost all his fluid and didn't have any brakes. But my biggest thing is for somebody to be under that car periodically and looking it over, checking everything out, looking for things like that, or just something that's, again, that could be prevented from a repair or the vehicle being down or leaving you stranded on the side of the road. It's amazing some of the stuff that we see through the multi-point inspection, or the dollars that we saved a customer by being able to diagnose or look at something and do a repair sooner than what it would have been if it would have been a complete breakdown and left you on the side of the road.
Yep, exactly. Like Jason Cox says, funny story is do a transmission flush or spend $6,500 on a transmission. I'd be doing a lot of flushes for $6,500 is what I would be telling you.
Yeah.
From that part. And the other thing, Josh, I'm going to tell you the way these engines are today and the low compression rings we have and everything else too. And we have the service, the GDI, which is a service from BG Products. And basically what it is putting a can of cleaner in the engine before we change the oil. And basically what that does is go on the backside of the engine oil, the rings, and cleaning all that carbon and stuff that develops into those rings. And that happens as a slow process. You don't realize how much those rings start locking down as a slow process, and you just lose a little bit of fuel economy here and there and a little bit of power, and you don't realize it till you go back and run that cleaner through there. And I'm going to tell you, I would be putting the GDI service every stinking service that I did every 5,000 miles. I do a GDI service to my truck.
So I think the best analogy for that is kind of like, your bath and the dirty water, but changing your oil is like taking a shower. Changing your oil and doing a GDI service is taking a shower and using shampoo and conditioner.
Yep.
And the difference in what that feels like and does for you is so much better. And they have, whether it's a gas or diesel, they've got the same kits both ways.
A diesel, I know dang I'd be doing it on a diesel every time.
But if you're one of those people that, maintenance intervals are that I have good intentions, I really want to get it done at 5,000 miles, but man, life gets in the way, and now I'm moved it on to 6,000 miles or 7,000 miles, then definitely you need to be looking at the GDI side of things, more frequently, and than just the normal consumer. It's not a bad thing to do every other or every couple of services to do that kit as well.
Yeah, exactly. So just know that we're here to help you with your maintenance and preventative maintenance. Pay me now, pay us now, or pay us later. Kind of thing. We want to help you build you your perfect maintenance schedule that'll take care of you. That multi-point inspection is crucial each time. The dab lube of taking a sample of the fluids. I'd love to see what my fluids are doing from that standpoint and everything else too. And it's kind of like going into my race car. I mean, I get laughed at every time changing the transmission fluid every time that we race. Everybody thinks you can do that stuff. Now, I will tell you that we're running this crate engine now instead of the open motor. And I went one race because I always change the oil every race in the engines. But I did the first time I did that with a crate. I mean, because it's a lower compression engine and, it's only putting out about 410 horse or whatever that we're running in those cars. And I do feel okay because the first time I did one race and I pulled the plug, the oil looked like it was perfectly brand new, clean and everything. So I'm going 2 races. That's all I do. I don't do more than 2. I know you're freaking out.
Who talked to you on that?
Yeah. So I do it every other, and I'm not going anymore. The GM on the deal, I think it says on the valve cover to change it every 4 to 5 nights, and there ain't no way I'm doing that. Those engines, even that engine is costing a lot of money.
Sure.
To maintain it and take care of it and everything else too.
Well, again, and you're talking about heat and getting rid of heat. In that race car, that's it gets warm going around that track, and you're at optimal or running it at extreme RPMs, and there's a lot of friction there for sure. Yep,
exactly. So just let us set you down with a good preventative maintenance schedule. Let us help you with that. And one thing that just popped in my head here, Josh, is, going from a multi-synthetic oil kind of, years ago, it was just a conventional oil. That's all we had. Now we're to multi-blends of, conventional and synthetics. And then you got your full synthetics and everything else too. And remember, when you go to a full synthetic, that does not extend your service interval. It does not. All it's doing is a better protection and everything else too. Remember, the most wear to your engine happens when you start it cold after it's setting. The full synthetics oils will get to these areas that need lubrication so much faster than a regular oil. And that's what you're really doing with the full synthetics, is that initial startup, you're getting the oil to the places that it needs that oil so much quicker and so much faster to stop that initial wear, because that's when the most wear happens, on that cold startup from that part. But just remember, the full synthetics do not extend the intervals of your oil changes from that part. So anyway, hey, we're about running out of time. Josh, any last comments, anything at all from that standpoint?
Yeah, it's definitely just if you're due, let us help you from that side of things. And pricing has been one of the things that we're looking at going out and updating, or let me rephrase that. We are going to go through and update. Commodities lately have, it's hard to keep track of the fluctuation of the cost of stuff and everything like that. And I've been doing a lot of calling around and getting what the local market's like and things like that. And there is a lot of different pricing out there. You really need to know what you're getting when you're asking that. Is it a conventional oil? Is it a semi-synthetic oil? Is it what kind of filter is it? Because all of that, it really does make a difference.
It's a huge difference. Huge difference
from there. And we're at, again, our works is $59.95, and you cannot barely go to an auto parts store, buy the same filter that we use and the same oil that we use, and take it home. And I think it'd be, maybe $6-7 less than what we charge to do that. Then have a certified technician look at the vehicle,
look it over,
rotate the tires. We're topping off all the other fluids that are not even in the equation of what you would spend if you were, filling stuff up. And it just, to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense to have somebody, try to do that. But I get it. There are gearheads out there that like doing that or want to do that, and completely understand it. But just make sure that you're doing the other things on the list too, and not just servicing the vehicle.
Yep. Anyway, Goose asked, what are the hours for Saturday to get an oil change? And we're here till 5 o'clock on Saturday. Open the doors at 7:30.
Yep. Well, so it's posted at 8, but 7:30 there's a line of cars, and we've
open the doors and get after it and get going. But here, the quick lane is here till 5. So basically, you need to get there, I would say 4-ish, to be able to get done and out of there by 5 o'clock from that part.
So the other side of that is we've really, we revamped our oil change stickers as well with a QR code, and then I've been really working hard on the Quick Lane app to be able to, again, understanding everybody's time, and that the time is a commodity that a lot of people cherish, which is great. But we've got the online, the Quick Lane online check-in, and basically you can go to our webpage and check in online, or you can do it mobilely through the Hambelton Ford app and check in down at the Quick Lane. Basically, it'll give you the estimation of what it would take for us to get to your vehicle. And again, you can check in right there and get in online, and then show up about that estimated time, and we'll be pretty close to getting ready to pull your vehicle in and get to working on it. Just try and save you a little bit of time. So
use those apps to help you. Again, the QR code that we now have on the oil change sticker to help get you right there. Many ways to save you time and effort. And like you said, Josh, time is crucial for everybody today, and I get it. So try to use those apps. If you need some help with it, come in here when you come in and have us walk you through the apps and all that stuff to make sure you can get pre-checked in and get ahead of this game and everything else too. So anyway, let's wrap things up. Everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Let's go through our sponsors real quick, of course, which is BG Products, all the great preventative maintenance products we use right side here at Hambelton Ford. And the great partnership by those guys, and can't wait to get that Mustang on the dyno over there at BG to see what kind of horsepower we're really getting to the wheels of that car. Big Corner Creative, all your advertising needs. If you need a web page, you need anything to help advertise your company, your business, you need a race car wrap, you need a vehicle wrap, you need windows wrapped, anything at all. It's a full-fledged 100%, whatever you need to advertise your company, they can take care of it. And Jesse's got a great gang down there. It's like they say, just Google us. And then, of course, Go To Rent. Getting the vehicles back up there in the fleet for Stan little by little. So if you're looking for a rental car or something, or a 12 or 15 passenger van, give Stan a call right inside here at Milholland Ford at Go To Rent. Everybody have a great Saturday, and we'll talk to you next Saturday.